Stupid console peasants don't have fucking more, do they? You know that? Ooh. A little box. Touch that!
There we go. Last balloon. Holy, you fat shit.
No. Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Overbite Gaming's Metal Gear Solid 5, the Phantom Pain review.
Very important review. It's the fifth, maybe even more, installment in the Metal Gear series. How many games have there been now?
15 trillion.
Yeah, it feels like it. But we're here to talk about Metal Gear 5, which is a game that we've both played on PC, because
It's better.
Because I just wanted to play it on PC, see what all the fuss was about.
Because it's better.
Yeah. So we don't have any experience on the console versions, but
Hence no box.
yeah, we have no box. We have no box here. There's no box here. Lee, there's no box.
There is no box.
Well, let's talk about story first. Let's talk about how this came to be.
Okay.
Basically, find yourself, as in most Metal Gear games, starting off in a hospital. It seems to me every time I have played a Metal Gear game, you kind of end up in you're completely vulnerable and have to go somewhere very, very slowly.
Which one was that?
I'm pretty sure Metal Gear 4 did it.
No, you started off in a war zone.
A quiet war zone.
No, they were like those giant moo cow things.
Moo cow things?
Yeah, they were on two legs. And
Oh, okay.
geckos. But they mooed.
I'm really confused. It's been a long time since I've played number 4.
It's Metal Gear Solid, my friend. You're supposed to be confused.
That brings us on to a very good point that, the story of the game is kind of all over the place, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, for me, Metal Gear Solid has always been, you do about an hour of gameplay, watch like 20 minutes of cutscene, and you sort of go on like that. This one's very much not like that. You do like several hours of gameplay before you actually get treated with a cutscene. Now, I know some people may like that, but for me it just doesn't feel like Metal Gear without that sort of lengthy cutscene going on. And
let's point out the slightly medium-sized elephant in the room of David Hayter's not doing the voice in this one.
No, he's not.
And he was a classic. He was Snake to a lot of us who have playing through the years. And now we have a decent actor doing it. We have Keith Sutherland being Snake.
Yeah.
But to me, it's not the same. It just isn't.
It would be worse. I mean, Keith Sutherland's a fantastic choice if we hadn't already had David Hayter. I think if we hadn't had David Hayter, we would be far more sanguine about getting Keith Sutherland, because fantastic actor, does the good gravelly voice like Jack What's-His-Face from 24. Bauer. It was in there. But the thing for me, where was I going with this? I've gone as secure as root in my brain now. The thing for me is he doesn't actually talk that much anyway. Unlike most Metal Gears, where he's like constantly having codec conversations, he just kind of gets talked at most of the time.
And he has that kind of surly, don't respond attitude, doesn't he?
Like,
because he's like a gruff old war vet that literally treats everyone like shit.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's fair.
Everyone you come into contact with, the conversations are very, very minimal. It's like he can't be fucked to be there.
I would say that's fair enough. I mean, he doesn't seem to have an emotional connection to like hardly any of the characters. It's not like Otacon and Naomi from previous games.
Yeah, I mean, everyone who's played a Metal Gear game before, or certainly Metal Gear 2, I remember specifically with
Raiden, you bastard!
with Otacon saying that classic line of "when you die, the snake." Snake! And that was like the thing that everyone remembers.
Snake, what's wrong? Snake! Snake!
From, that interaction. And the weird codec numbers to get special messages and all that stuff. Little Easter eggs.
Well, I mean, if you go all the way back from Metal Gear Solid, from its very inception as Metal Gear Solid, not the NES ones.
Yeah.
Which I've never played. They were always groundbreaking, always doing something completely out of left field of the box. The Psycho Mantis fight in the first game, where you had to swap controller ports, and you'd be able to look at your memory card and be, "You've been playing Dynasty Warriors 4!" you twat.
Yeah, that was awesome. I remember that freaking me out the first time.
Yeah.
I think there's one bit where you have to run around naked in Metal Gear 2.
Yeah, as Raiden, which.
And then you're running around naked, and then it all goes into a weird like acid trip, and it's freaky, and very very freaky. But that kind of thing I've probably sunk about 30 hours into this game, playing through some of the story missions, doing some of the side missions. I think you'll probably agree with me on this for a change, that although the missions are separate and you have lots of things to do, they are repetitive.
Yes, absolutely, I would agree.
It is kind of go here, kill these people, or go here and extract this person. But it's kind of in the right context. It's in a war zone. That's what you're going to do. You're not really going to go in and have a cup of tea.
It just doesn't feel like Metal Gear for me because of that. I mean, Metal Gear has always been, there's one storyline that you're going through, and in this game there is a storyline that you're going through, but there's so much gaps between it, you literally forget where you are in the storyline.
Yeah, I can see that.
And you're just going to this war zone, you're doing what's essentially the same mission in the same areas over and over and over and again. Sometimes you're doing a side mission, just basically grinding, or you're doing storyline missions which actually progress the story.
So, yeah,
why would that be?
The important thing here with this game is that you're actually splitting it up into a base resource management game, because you actually set up a base in the Seychelles, and then you have to get dropped off in Afghanistan in the first arena of gameplay. I think you move on to somewhere else in Africa or something. I can't remember the second area. I've just literally arrived in it, but it's more like foresty, whereas Afghanistan is like a more deserty, hilly, mountainy kind of area. But in your base in the Seychelles, you level up certain areas. You extract people out of the field who somehow then get convinced to work for you. I haven't worked this part out yet, because these are people that are trying to kill you, and you basically whip them up with a massive balloon, which is easily the best thing in the whole game, extracting people by balloon. But they go back to your base, and then they become your staff in your private military group, or private military force. Yeah. But because you have this split of gameplay between base operations and going out in the field, it all costs money to do anything. Your currency is GMP, which you'll end up calling GIMP in about 5 seconds.
I never thought of that.
It's because you are a GIMP.
Only on the weekends.
But you have these two kind of separate bits of gameplay that do feel connected, but they don't feel connected yet. And I can only see that at the end of the game, which I haven't got to yet, I haven't looked at what the end of the game is, that there's going to be some kind of altercation or battle at your base, because you're levelling up parts to do things out in the field. You're gathering people and weapons and tanks, and not unless you've got a tank yet, but trucks, containers of resources, everything like that. So I can see something happening at the end. So we'll put that clear. We haven't finished the game yet. It's massive.
You can't finish it anywhere near as much as he's not finished. No, I've not finished it more.
Put it in perspective, I've played this game for 30 hours-ish, around that, and I have 14% complete.
Yeah, I've got about 6% complete, I think. It's
huge.
It's huge, but unlike Metal Gears, where I'm not getting any positive reinforcement because I'm not getting the story, going through the story as quickly as normal. It's really hard for me to come back to. I really struggled in collecting footage because I knew I'd just be doing the same thing over and over again.
I haven't had that problem going back to it. It's a game that I've been streaming a bit on Twitch. I've been playing a lot.
Yes. Well, we'll plug his Twitch channel. Right.
But yeah, I've been streaming a lot, and it's people do come on and watch it. But the main thing is that the game itself is it can sap hours out of you because it's that nature of gameplay. It's not a run in and shoot everyone dead. You will often try and take the stealthy route because that's the less... Okay, he doesn't. But things can go badly very quickly, especially when you forget to replenish your supplies before you actually do go into a base or an outpost. Outposts are very easy. They're just on the kind of road, and there's normally about 4 or 5 guys. You can go pew pew pew, and they're all tranked, and then extract them, and you've got 5 extra chaps in your base. But when you're doing an actual operation inside a compound, I remember from previous Metal Gear games, it was like a set piece. You were in a hospital, or you were in a army bunker or something. It was an enclosed space, so it was like that sense of tension and not being able to get anywhere or get away from something or hide easily. And hiding was a massive part of old Metal Gear games, and it's kind of been lost in this one.
Yeah, I would totally agree. The only time I ever tried to hide was when I had a helicopter attacking me. That was about it.
Yeah, a massive gunship that can rip you in half. And that was annoying.
Yeah.
Because you're in a fucking desert, and you might find a rock to hide behind, and that's it. And then as soon as it flies over, you've got to try and get around the other side of the rock without it seeing you. Oh, it's just a nightmare. The only way I can so far deal with a gunship is calling air support and literally bombard the gunship and kill it. I'm presuming that with a rocket launcher you could take it out as well, but I haven't tried that yet. It'd be cheaper.
Well, not even a honeybee.
I haven't. Well, yeah, honeybee, but I haven't even used that yet.
You didn't use it. I told you to use it.
Oh, I've used it in one of the missions.
Oh, okay.
But I haven't
Not
used it as
freely. Okay.
yeah.
I see.
I just got a standard rocket RPG launcher thing. But I mean, the gameplay itself is really good. I like the style of it. You get yourself a horse now to get between places.
D-horse.
D-horse, who you can command to poop on the floor.
Yeah, he told me to capture footage of it pooping and didn't explain that I needed to level it up. So I was stood literally in the footage. I stood there for like about 10 minutes trying every single button combination I can think of to try and get this fucking horse to poop.
Well, I didn't realise that until I'd told you it now. So anyway, the horse is very handy. You can upgrade your horse. You can upgrade pretty much everything in the game as you'd expect. Weapons, horses. Because Snake now doesn't have one arm, that's your prosthetic arm, can do a lot of different things, and you can level up your actual own abilities by upgrading the arm, so you can have better precision when shooting, better medical kind of health stats. You can use it to stun enemies, to create distractions and decoys. If you remember, the old games used to be like up against the wall and do that, and that would be a way to actually attract an enemy. Now he kind of twiddles his hand around.
Yeah, he's also got
it's weird.
Basically they've taken the Soliton radar and sort of incorporated it into the hand, and he sort of does like a fist pound ground thing.
Yeah,
sort of shows enemies around him, which is cool, but you still don't know how the fuck to get there. So
yeah, there's lots of bits and pieces, but I don't think it feels too rushed in my opinion. Because I think you mentioned that when we were discussing it earlier, that it feels a little bit like it's been pushed out quickly. Not
necessarily the gameplay. I mean, given that it's such an immense departure from what Kojima's done in the past, storyline-wise, it just feels like Konami wanted it out of the door as quickly as possible, so they were like, have you got the gameplay done? And Kojima's like, well, it's the same as Ground Zeroes, so yes. They're like, good, get it out there.
Yeah, there's... Certainly in the story aspect, I'm failing to follow it as much as I have done previous ones. I didn't play much of Metal Gear 3. I didn't play any of the Revengeance stuff from the Raiden.
Yeah, that's
bits.
Basically a completely...
That's
put
fine.
that to one side.
Okay, we'll just park that. But I haven't played a complete collection of Metal Gear. I've played a lot of bits, because I've played 1 and 2 completely, and many times, because I used to love them on those platforms. 3 was a bit of a... I didn't really get to grips with that very easily and quickly, and I kind of lost interest. At number 4, I played it right to the end, but then didn't finish it. I think I left it for a bit, came back, and because controls in Metal Gear is something that it's a breaker, it's a deal breaker if you haven't played it for a while. There are a lot of particular button presses that you have to do in the right order to do what you want to do. So, for example, if you're sniping or something, you've got to line up and then adjust how far you're seeing, line up the shot, maybe get down and crouch, and there's lots of things to do to make the shot go well. Or if you're attacking an enemy, which buttons do you press to knock them out and stuff like that. Nothing complicated, but you just have to remember what they are to do them in quick succession at the time, because if you don't, then they get alerted, they tell their friends, and they'll come running and mortar you and grenade you and snipe you, and it gets annoying. So controls are a bit so when you've been away from a game for so long, to come back to that and try and pick it up in the middle of an advanced game, it can be really quite annoying.
Except the controls completely change at the end of Metal Gear Solid 4, because you have basically what amounts to a Street Fighter fight between Solid and Liquid. Or Old and Ocelot Liquid.
Yeah, and that's where it kind of gets lost. I mean, it's fun to watch and it's fun to play. it's just I have to kind of just grit and bear through the bits that you don't quite understand, because they will become apparent at some point in the near future. So you hope.
But you'd probably be wrong.
But I'm only 14% through the game, so it can all change. But I've just come across kind of some of the big baddie. I don't want to give too much of the game away, but obviously a Metal Gear game is going to have some element of a bipedal Metal Gear somewhere in the game, right?
Yeah,
so that's not going to be ruining too much. So I've experienced one that's almost a fully standing up Metal Gear that's quite big and decides to hunt you. And at the time it just kind of goes, "You got to get away from it, Snake." Okay, I can understand that, mate, but I'm in a desert and it can pretty much see me through a rock. So yeah, that was a bit annoying. Managed to hide from it and then extract this passenger. It was just an annoying mission. It really was an annoying mission. And but that's the set piece, and that's the bit that they haven't seemed to have got right so far. The general gameplay is good for me. I like it. I enjoy it. But that kind of when it forces you to do a certain thing, yes, it's like the tailing missions in like GTA or Assassin's Creed and stuff, where it's like you must play the game within these confines. Whereas it should be do it how you want. You know, if you can either run away from this big thing or blow it up. But then the story might get fucked later on if you could blow it up.
Well, I mean, the problem is it's because you're getting so little story and they're throwing all these left field things like the guy on fire that rides a unicorn.
Oh yeah, I completely forgot about that bit. That part was like, what the fuck?
And these guys that basically teleport through while there's fog, but only when there's fog or mist or something. Yeah, no, the flaming man riding a unicorn, that was it for me. That was when I thought, do you know what, just fuck it, fuck this right off, I want to play some game. I don't understand what's happening here. See, for me that was almost like, Kojima, there you are.
But it just came out of nowhere. Like, to start off with, you get this kind of thinking, okay, this is some kind of mutated, genetically altered chap that can withstand extra heat, so he might have like a heat suit. Oh no, he's just riding a fucking flying unicorn. What?
While being on fire.
Yeah, like, well, what? Yeah, it was fun at the time, but when you're trying to think, you know, this is grounded in reality, this game.
Oh, and female mantis ripoff.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Floating, weird, kind of telekinetic woman.
That'd be the one.
Yes, you got a flying ginger girl, a burning man, which I call Bernie after a while.
Bernie the Burning Man.
Yeah, Bernie on his unicorn, and that was just immense. But we are going off on tangents here. We need to talk about the game. So we talked about the gameplay and the structure of the missions and what you can do in the game, and the story's kind of might get better. But how did you feel with your time with it? I mean, you said you had a hard time coming back to it.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I've had literally last week off and I've captured probably about 3 hours worth of footage for you to go through.
Cool.
But it was like, yeah, okay, I got this week to play it. And I played it Monday and I played it for about an hour and a half and I was like, yeah, I want to do something else now.
But is that because it takes a long time to do like anything?
No, it was simply because it's like, okay, I'll do this mission. These were the same guard shacks I've seen before. It's not really open world because it's going to end my game because I've run down the wrong road and it's an exiting mission area.
Yeah, it has that, yeah.
Which I hate. It's just like, well, that's the shorter route round this road. This is the long way, but that goes outside the mission area, so I can't go the short route. I have to go all the way fucking round here.
Yeah, and you have to kind of deal with those outposts on the way. I find it hard that when you're doing missions, you actually have to pay money to go and play the game. Not real money, just in-game currency.
Yeah, to be fair, it does let you go into the red, though. It's not.
Yeah,
it's not like you just can't go. No.
It's easy to make that money back, and you do get a lot for completing missions. So it's just a matter of it's got it at the right level. I think that you're not just completely spamming and overpowering yourself with lots of equipment.
Mm-hmm.
You can only carry certain things. You can only carry 1 or 2 secondary guns and 1 primary.
One
handgun and 2.
Well, yeah, but you get the secondary, but one of them's your hand.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, oh, they'd leave this. Oh, well.
Yeah, so it's a little bit annoying. But, I mean, I really enjoyed my time with it. I'm still playing it, obviously, and I'm having a good time with the missions. I've just entered, as I said, the second area that's more kind of rainforesty and South African looking. I can't understand any of the guards, which you could in the first area because you captured a translator who could speak Arabic.
Russian.
Well, yeah, probably was.
You got your one that spoke Pashto as well, isn't it?
Yeah, because I've picked up a few
side mission, I think.
But in the second area, I've got to find an Afrikaans translator because it's like speaking African everywhere. So in the first area, you can actually read the subtitles what they're saying, so what they're actually doing, searching for you, sending in like mortar fire or whatever, or calling off their search. And in the second area at the moment, I can't tell what they're doing.
Yeah, that was something I did like, because in the first area, I went into the first mission. I have to rescue Kaz Miller, who's like Resident Evil. What are you talking about? Metal Gear Solid.
It's because of the beret.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. And he's like, you don't know where he is. So I got a guy. I'm like, going against the door. I'm like, where is he? And he's like, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, the interrogation is a good thing. I do like that. It gives you extra hero points, which seems to be some kind of, I'd say currency, but it's an award system.
Yeah.
But basically, if you get into a firefight and you run away, it'll take points off you. If you get into a firefight and just take them all out, you'll gain points.
If you get spotted as well, I think it takes.
Yeah. It's like hero points and fame points and GMP points. So it's a lot of stuff to be dealing with. I've enjoyed it so far. The second area looks different. Because of the actual landscape, you've got more stuff to do with. You know, it's now all green and boggy, so you can't spot people as easy. So, you know, when the binoculars and tagging enemies, that was a thing in previous games, but it works really well. You can level that up so you can see more, and they can give you advanced warning of enemies. It's a good game. It's a good game.
It's a good game. I'm not sure whether it's a good Metal Gear Solid game.
Yeah, I mean, I think people that like Metal Gear are going to lap it up because it's been so long since, you know, before Ground Zeroes.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously had a very good critical reception, and the fan base seems to enjoy it as well. I'm just not as exuberant about it as that. I'd much rather go back and play number 4 or number 2 or number 1 or number 3.
The control system on the horse is a little bit iffy. I've had a number of times where he's stopping when he shouldn't stop, not turning properly, and hitting kind of when you're going down not a cliff top, but a steep hill. Sometimes it's okay, and sometimes I've fallen off, and it doesn't seem to be sort of coherent as this will make you hurt yourself, this won't. It's a bit annoying.
I mean, in structure, it reminds me very much of Dragon Age Inquisition. Because you've got a central base that you're building up, and you're going out into these different areas and doing missions in those areas, and that's all fine. But at least with Dragon Age, the story keeps on coming. It doesn't just say, okay, go kill these guys, go kill those guys, go kill those guys.
Yeah, and that's the other thing you can do later on in the game, Lee. I'm not sure if you got to that bit, but you can actually start sending your guys out to do things. So
be mercenaries and stuff.
Yeah, which brings in extra cash and resources. There is lots of layers to this game. You might find something that you like and other things that you don't, but you do have to play the whole thing to really keep it going. You can't just do that. You can't just build your base. You have to go and do the missions to get the money to have to do those things. So it can get ups and downs. Now, you were mentioning to me the other day about the frame rate.
Yes, I was, yeah.
Tell the lovely people about the frame rate.
Well, on launch day, booted it up. Had a little bit of problem at first. Had to install a beta driver for it, but
I did.
You should have done, actually. Oh no, it was my motherboard. There were certain types of CPU. That was it.
Because mine's better, isn't it, Lee?
It's just newer. It's not better. Shut up. But after I got over that, started playing the game. 60 frames per second constantly across the board, really stable. Brilliant. Well done, lads. And they've patched it recently, and now it's 50 frames per second across the board, super stable. And I'm kind of like, why would you patch it worse?
I haven't really noticed.
That's because you don't run all your games with a frame rate counter on the corner.
No, because I just want to enjoy the game.
I want to enjoy the game, but I want to make sure I'm enjoying it at its optimum level of enjoyment.
To me, 50 frames looks okay.
It's playable, but it's like, it's not as good. Why would it be patched so it was not as good?
I mean, speaking of visuals and frame rates, I mean, I've just said I didn't have a problem with the 50. I don't even know if what mine is running at, because I don't have the counter and I haven't tested it. But some of the visuals on the actual characters do irk me.
In what way?
I have a beard at the moment, right? It seems, yeah, this one. It seems to me that in those instances where Konami is one of the companies that does it,
Yeah.
but some companies seem to have a thing where beards are only beards like with an outline or just a single line of hair, and it looks really obvious.
Yeah, it's like sort of stacked.
Yeah.
It looks like you've got a string of beard, and then you've got a string of beard, and you've got
Yeah.
a string of beard.
And it's just some of the hair things don't look quite right, and then some other hair bits and other visual features and characters looks really great. Like they have got their eyes a bit better this time. You know, that's been gradually getting better over the years, but some bits are good, some bits are bad, and it just throws you out. That's the annoying part. Just throws you out.
I think to wind this review up, because it's getting a long one, I would say it's a good game. It doesn't feel very much like a Metal Gear Solid game, at least to me. And there are other games I would rather be playing, which is a shame, because I was really looking forward to this one. If I was going to put a score on it, it would probably be 7.
Wow, and you don't like scores. That's saying a lot. For me, I think it's a good game if you like that style of play. If you like stealth kind of play that can change and go to shit very quickly, it's probably a game for you. If you're a fan of Metal Gear, it's nice to carry on your story. What that story is, we don't know yet. And I think with the visuals and stuff and the kind of open aspect and lots of different layers of gameplay, there's lots to do. You'll get your money's worth. I picked it up on Steam for, what was it, 35?
45.
45?
It was an extremely expensive release on Steam for some reason.
Yeah, maybe it was 45. I can't remember how much I paid. I think it was about that. But I still think that's a good value for money as a game. For the amount of hours that you're going to spend playing it, if you like it. I think personally, it's a game, if I had to give it a score, I'd give it slightly higher. I think it's a well put together game in general aspects, so about 8 out of 10. But that's only because you can attach people and animals to balloons and then send them up into the fucking stratosphere, and it's hilarious every time. Like, it never gets boring. So
I did a bear.
So guys, thanks for watching our review of Metal Gear Solid: The Phantom Pain.
Number 5.
Number 5. Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll catch you next time.
Take it easy.
Bye. But I think it's a really good mechanic. I like the way they've done it. It appears and disappears, and it's good and great. I don't want to say any more.
Well, I'm less enthralled with
Rewarding because you've had to put so much more work into it, rather than, oh, I'm going to do stuff because you hate elves, and therefore if I do this you'll like me more. It's very, it's very hard to actually judge the characters, and once you do, it becomes a great part of the game.